making it very much clear, right? So going back now, as we already went into it, it also shows the time frame which have been about roughly 3 years, one year and a half to go in, 1 year and a half to come out, which is roughly about 3 years, as mentioned. So the accuracy of the timing would have been correct, that you would have been going into the land, and the time frame that would be going to the land was be 1 year and a half, right? And the same region is called Asra. Very good. It says, let's continue. It says, then dwell they there until the latter time, and now when they shall begin to come, the highest shall stay the springs of the streams again, and they may go through. Therefore sawest thou the multitude of with peace, but those that be left behind of thy people are they that are found within my borders. So those who are left behind, which were the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, were found in the borders of what? Asarat, which is America. And the only way that happened would have been during the transatlantic slave trade, when our people were held captive, sold by the Hamites onto the Edomites, and carried, or the Europeans, if you want to make it like that, and carried to what? America, after it was already rediscovered by Christopher Columbus, or Cristobal Colon, as his name is. So see how this thing turns back in. And let me get some information to that too, because it's very important that we go into the histories. Very important. Let's first start with the book, The Lost 10 Tribes, and then we could continue. Matter of fact, let's start with this particular book, Slack. Yeah, let me get it. Let's start with this one. This one below. All right. True and true. Right. So this one. Birdman. Right. I'm looking for the name of the book. I'll get it. This is the name of the book, which is, where we go. It says the Christopher Columbus and the participation of the Jews in the Spanish and Portuguese discoveries. Right. Pages around 98 and verses 99, which we went into, which is why it's here. So let's go into it. Perfect tank. Okay, pass down. It says, language and names. The indigenous language resembles Hebrew, sometimes called corrupted Hebrew, which is indeed fact, because they were in captivity of the other nations, they were partaking of the ways of the heathens, as well as still having the ancient Hebrew, which at times they would have abhorred, as mentioned. But let's continue. It says, indigenous language resembles Hebrew, sometimes called corrupted Hebrew. Place and personal names are derived from Hebrew. It says Cuba and Haiti. Rivers is Hayana, Hebrew, Ain, which is stream. People, Yons or Jones or Yaki or Jacob or Urias and Urias, etc. Names of tools like canoes, Kansas, pepper, which is Axi, and storehouse for maize or grain also reflects Hebrew origins. Salakia. It says, which we also goes into what? Rites and ceremonies, circumcisions prevailed amongst the Indians. Bathing in rivers and streams were common. Avoiding of touching dead, abstaining from tasting blood, defined fast days, marriage customs, marrying sister-in-law allowed of widows were childless. Wives were replaced for new helpmates, which is according to what the traditions and customs of Yasharallah, which is Israel. Religious practices such as sacrifice of the first fruits, which is of Israel, on high mountains or under the shady trees. Temple exists, carrying a holy ark before them during war. Again, how much do we need to identify cultural observation as mentioned in the book, they were like the 10 tribes, but also inclined to worship idols, to idol worship, which is exactly what they were doing, which we read in 2 Kings. So this directly describes the ancient Israel. I talk about the northern kingdom. It directly describes it. It even mentioned that they were like these people because they know they were. Because they want to hide it doesn't mean that doesn't know. Saying that they were like doesn't remove the fact that they were. Let's be real. They say they were like because it's a comparison of these, which is a direct comparison identifying the markers of who they were, which were the lost 10 tribes. And the other books could also partially prove until we find the completion from archaeological locations. A reporter, which is Christopher Columbus, and his diary, as well as the Hebrew interpreters and many scholars to back that information up also, whether it be mainstream or not. Let's continue. Summary, exact points from the book, and Kansas recording the following as observed and reported among the indigenous people. Language, as you read, language and names and objects suggest Hebrew, derivation, religious and ceremonial practices, circumcision, which is of Israel, which is of ancient Israel, fast days, first fruits of offerings, temples, holy ark in war, cleanliness and ritual behavior, bathing, avoiding dead, abstaining from blood, family and marriage customs, cultural alignments, compared to the 10 tribes of Israel. So this is what is indeed a fact. But not only that, let's go into the rest. Then you can now open your eyes and realize who these people are. And I can directly tell you they are the lost 10 tribes, the indigenous people that were in the land that were taken as captives after the voyage of Christopher Columbus. These are the true lost 10 tribes. Because what people do you know that are separated from, if you are saying that they were never in the West, in the East, how could they inhabit or receive the laws when it was given from Moses to the children of Israel in the East? So if they were already in the West and they have no way of accessing the Eastern Hemisphere, then how can they now have these things in their grasp and even utter the Shema to Christopher Columbus as he went in by a female? And the Shema is only exclusive to Yasharallah, the children of Israel, identifying Yahweh Shemyoshai as their power. No other nation has that. None whatsoever. Which we are also going to bring forward. Because it's record. These are records. These books are records. There wasn't video camera and all these things back then. They were mere simple, a group of 4 to 5 people for the most, which are witnesses. Somebody to write, somebody to interpret, and the rest to do what they need to do to subdue. It's very simple. This is not hard to understand. So let's go into the next information provided immediately. So let's continue. And this is what ChatGPT likes to do. Even though it's very much clearly mentioned that these people were speaking Hebrew, they still would like to say, even though it was written by these people, it does not say that they... Anyways, let's continue. We will show you. Which shows the types of lies. Let's go into it. Here's a clear, organized list linking specific indigenous names and terms and stones with alleged ancient Hebrew inscriptions. Christopher Columbus interpreter, which is Louis de Torres, and how this connects with the idea of Shemai or Hebrew language claims, along with credible source you can look up on Google, so you can investigate further yourself. The ancient Hebrew stone Los Lunas deco Decalog stone, right? Well, I'll call it LLDS LLD stone, informed from Wikipedia, is a large boulder near Los Lunas, New Mexico, with a 9-line inscription. From some people read as a version of the Ten Commandments in what appears to be Old Hebrew script, which we can also show what it looks like, though it might have been corrupted in the translations, because we know how these Edomites are. It was still mainly ancient Hebrew that was written, which was only passed down from Noah to Shem, coming down from the lineage to Abraham, coming down to Isaac, coming down to Jacob, which is given to Israel, which even Yahushua would have spoke, by the way. But let's continue, because they don't want to hear this. All right, let's go into it. It says, supporters claim it resembles Paleo-Hebrew or Semitic script, like I said. What the inscription is interpreted as some enthusiasts say, and again, this is how it is, there's phrase these things, and it is no one ChatGPT being biased, because I had to correct them from being biased at times, which these with the same book we read before Christopher thing. They're trying to be biased about it, and when I do bring out facts, they had to shut up, as per usual. So let's go into it. Some enthusiasts say the stone contains an abridged version of the Ten Commandments in later resembling ancient Semitic alphabet forms, and that the Tetragrammaton Yahweh YHWH appears in the text, which the video is very much present on my phone. But before we continue, let me show the video, please, so you could see it yourself. Proof upon proof. So right here, I'm gonna continue it.
At what point? Like, he looks like he continued, you know? I started right into that, and then he realizes somewhere along the line, at what point? Like, he looks like he continued to write.
That there's nothing of fakeness or fable.
Not to...
And this is something all people would have done in time and time again, which is why there are stones in multiple areas as to where we would have passed. So stop playing with this foolishness, please, and listen.
Take up. Not to uphold. Et, down here, that's missing. The Aleph is gone. The Ta is there. Et Shem. Yahweh. The name of the Lord. Don't take up the name of the Lord.
See that? All the information here, along with the name in the Tetragrammaton, YHWH, which is the M with the line on top, or it's called the Z with the line in the center, which you also have the F with the third line, the Y and the F with the third line, which you always bring out, which is the name of the Heavenly Father. When they translate it, it goes into the Tetragrammaton YHWH, which is Yahweh, because of the consonant letters YAHAWAHA. And once the name has ended, the A does not continue, which is why it stops at H. Yahweh, not Yahweh. Yahweh. That's it. Alright? So, I'm going to pause. Mobile stone. Let me show you. So we show the lunar stone select. I say mobile stone, because there's also a mobile stone also. But we show the lost lunar stone. So let's continue. So it shows the Tetragrammaton as well, which we have shown. So right. So I believe we should probably read from. Oh, it's from here. So this is where they want to come and see. Like the way it says, many archaeologists and linguistic experts regards the stone as of uncertain or modern origin, and note no confirmed archaeological context proving it is pre-Columbian. Now, what I'm going to show you, this is where the biases has to start, because when the next information I'm going to show you is going to prove by many of these same scholars that did their due diligence, is also going to show that it is. And it's also going to show that that ChatGPT is biased. And when it does, then you realize how important it is to know the truth rather than to search it from ChatGPT, from an AI, right? So stay tuned until the next one.